So he proved that you can create a product when no one wants it. But you as a creator, you know what it does. And you have taken time to study. Then its demand will keep on going. Supply it and then see what is going to happen. Before the camp, there was other events. But when we came up with a camp, libertarian camp, which we have today, we started realizing people getting interested after telling them what is the camp about and what is it. So at the end of the day, innovation starts with what no one sees, but only one person. And that's where Austrian economics tells you that innovation is not for everyone, but for those people who see what others cannot see, who see a demand after creating a product. I told you yesterday a story which I couldn't believe. Most of the churches are volunteering. If you go there, you are an admin. I'm an admin of the church, but volunteer. But I told you one of my postmen who found out that I can create a service of interpreting. And he convinced the pastor that it should be paid for. And at the end of the day, the pastor got used to pay for the interpretation. But when you pay for something, the person who gets value out of what is given ends up improving it day by day, day by day. But if it is for free, like what we did, we gave a house to a lady, but it was for free. We had no value for it. We ended up wasting it. And we couldn't blame her because we can't force it. It was not one of her. So, one of the most intriguing thing about the Australian economics is the entrepreneurship and how it raises up. But then it also tells you that for the entrepreneur who have succeeded, because we have envy all over the world with people who are going to become successful somehow. Because other people look at them as thieves. Here in Uganda, we used to have when people make money, become rich, then they say he has gone down the water, underground. Because people could not understand in the community how you be very different from them. Then others would say you have stolen. Except when you are working with the government. People will say, oh yeah, we want government. But then they will also know, those are the people who are eating our money. Yeah. And at the end of the day, people get to understand how society is intertwined into different interests and needs. So the moment we understand that there are different needs everywhere, then we are going to be either the people to solve it or to get it and getting it understood by the rest, and then we come up with a good policy which we must have. I would also like to talk about one of the scenarios, charity, because Australian economics does not encourage charity. It encourages people to exchange value for value. And does not mean it should be monetary. I will give you an example which we had a crisis in Kampala. One, this is from your story. There is a rich guy, not rich middle class, but he had feeling for the street people. And one time he went on the streets and found a kid begging and said, no, I'm going to make sure I build a home for beggars, for those children. And he went somewhere in Nansana, built, mobilized and fundraised money. But then when he built a home for the street children, even in the village where he was, some parents started telling their children, tell this person you are orphan. They started giving them some direct. When they existing, that tell them you are orphan, we are just your and the whole village where the home was also became vulnerable by mindset, because everyone wants free thing. He was looking at Kampala Street, but at the end of the day, he got one of the kids who was in the home and asked this kid, after taking him to school, that who are your parents? The He told me, and my parents had died. I said, they died when? No, long time. He was not there. And then he had someone called Mom. And he went to there, said, we shall visit your aunt. And when he reached at the aunt, these brothers came, oh, my brother. They were welcoming this kid as a brother. And he found out that this family could take this boy to the good school. And because they wanted free education, they had to pretend that the boy is an orphan. And that is the dilemma we have sometimes when we are helping. When you pay small charity, you lose the opportunity to create business. So, in the end, we must ask ourselves, because the camp is about provoking us to think deeper, to acquire knowledge, and use that knowledge to create not only businesses, but also to influence policies which are working. We don't have to leave politicians to do what they have done. Because politicians are people who are less interested in knowledge. In this camp, we invited some politicians. But the best way to understand that someone is a politician, just watch those who are moving out. As if they are not interested in knowledge, you will know this one may be a politician. Just do that something, you will get to know, because sometimes he wants to solve problems with the people, he's on the call, but he does not know which means are going to get my people out of. And we give that example of Tabazi, who thought maybe force is going to work. But then, as we are going to conclude, let us conclude with this. This is capitalism. How many of you have heard about capitalism? Yeah, how many of you agree with capitalism? If you understand, 1, 2, 3, 4. Those who don't understand capitalism, who don't agree with it, we need, because this is, we have 1, 2, they are only 2. Those who don't know about capitalism, okay, let me start with Adam. She has been part of our, I start off with person who disagree with it. You first have to tell them,
okay, good morning. I quite disagree with capitalism. I feel capitalism, so let me use an example. I'm the president. If I'm a capitalist, it will be like each and every resource I get, all the resources of the country, it will be capitalistic, whereby I'm the big man in everything. I'm the big man, I have the final say. But why I agree with socialism is like, I'm so free with everybody is free in the country, free doing anything, to use the resources as the community at once. But here in capitalism, it's the big man who has the final say. When, for example, Rwanda is capitalist. That's what Kagame is doing. So it's so bad for me. I agree with socialism. I can't agree with capitalism. Like socialism, it's like I feel working with a community and everything's like for free because we are socializing with everybody. Nobody is above the law. Nobody is above any other. So I feel it's the best.